Last of Us, the TV show, finally is upon us. And it came out a couple days ago. I finally got to watch it yesterday on HBO Max. And here's my review. So, anyways, straight out the gate, we see that the theme from the game is in the intro for this show. It seems they're going into a little bit more depth into the character of Sarah. 12 minutes into the show, right about the 12-minute mark, between 12 and 13 minutes, police cars are blazing and helicopters are flying over, and it just kind of steadily ramps up, and the shit's about to hit the fan. Sarah, for whatever fucking reason, in the middle of the night, she is brave. It wouldn't be me. She's brave as shit. She goes over to her neighbor, the Adlers, to see what's going on. Her elderly neighbors, who earlier on were kind of annoying to her, but they seem kind of to have some kind of close relationship. She goes over there to inspect what's happening. Oh, the border collie, was outside her door, beating on the door. I guess the dog came to get help. What is it, Lassie? What is it, girl? The dog is, I guess, trying to communicate telepathically to Sarah and to say, hey, there's some zombies over here. Can you come check it out, please? And so Sarah goes over to the neighbor. Braver than me, because I wouldn't fucking do it. She goes over to the neighbor, and it's a full-on zombie apocalypse. We go from 0 to 20 to 100. Joel comes back, just like in the game, and he's like, Sarah, let's get the fuck out of here. And they kind of recreate or remaster for TV, if you will, the shots when Joel, Tommy, and Sarah are kind of driving around town. I love how they replicate the scenes from the game when they come up to the intersection, and they get in an accident just like the game, and Joel and Sarah get separated from Tommy. Tommy goes one way, and Joel and Sarah go the other. I forget if anyways, at some point in the game, it's kind of a big scene where the gas station explodes. But in this one, I don't really remember a plane crashing in the original game, but a plane crashes into the gas station, and that kind of just makes everything even worse than it already is. So Joel and Sarah run off, and they kind of trim the fat per se, because the video game is more extended in this part. You're running around with Sarah in your arms, but we knew it was coming. We knew the scene was coming, and it kind of solidifies, just like The Walking Dead, but in its own way, that the zombies are not necessarily the most dangerous thing that's happening in the zombie apocalypse. Like, I knew it was about to happen, but it still stung, because they they took the time to kind of expound upon the character of Sarah, and I think it actually hurt even a bit more seeing this again for like the fifth time, but only in live action. I genuinely felt more attached to Sarah, and this kid that plays Sarah. I'm looking at her and I'm like, she looks kind of like Thandie Newton. And lo and behold, I look her up, and it's actually Thandie Newton's daughter, and I'm like, wow, holy shit, she looks like the living embodiment of her mother. We move forward to the future, 2023, and they kind of use the same transition as the game with the white text and the black background. I love it. Kind of wandering around, and you don't know, he looks sick, but he definitely looks hungry.
Please, sir, I want some more.
And we cut to Joel picking up dead bodies. And right away I thought, okay, yeah, they're gonna see that kid here, right? And they kind of play with us just a little bit, and then you see the same. I had to rewind to make sure, but it's the same clothing, and you see the wound on the leg. They actually, I guess, they executed the kid. So, anyways, so enter Tess, and Tess is seems to be being held against her will by Robert and his goons. In the game, if you recall, um, Joel and Tess, they find out that Robert double crossed them about some guns or some bullshit, and but it seems like in this game they retconned it, and now they're after a truck battery, a battery. And the reason they want a truck battery is because Joel is actively looking for Tommy, his brother, if you from the beginning of the show. In the game, it's made very clear that Tommy and Joel were not on speaking terms, but they kind of changed that. So now he's looking for Tommy, and he goes to. They're talking about some radio tower or some bullshit. Whatever. It's not even that. It doesn't even seem that important. But he's looking for Tommy, and they need a truck battery. Joel comes home and he crawls into bed, and we kind of see his apartment, which I don't think we saw. We didn't really see in the game, And then this is a change. He's in bed. Tess comes home after getting her ass beat by Robert and his goons and crawls into bed. It was never really. I think they stated in the game that they might have had something. It was kind of ambiguous at the time. But now it's very much there that Joel and Tess are in a relationship because they're both in bed together. Fully clothed, by the way, which is kind of odd. Now we see Marlene. And I'm like, man, this actor is really killing the shit out of this role. She sounds just like Marlene. Her mannerisms are just like Marlene. Come to find out, it's the actual actor that voiced Marlene in the game is now in the fucking show. So, just like the game, the motivation for leaving the compound is to go and fuck up Robert. They leave, and I'm like, I just played the Last of Us 1 remake, remaster of the remaster, and I'm thinking they better use a ladder right here, or I'm going to be pissed and I want my money back. HBO. Um, and of course, thank you, Neil. Thank you to the showrunner, I forget his name. Chad? I don't know, whatever. And there is a ladder, not used in the same manner as the game, but there is a ladder. 10 out of 10 show. We find that Ellie is being held captive by Marlene and the Fireflies, and she's chained up in a room. Marlene seems to know that Ellie is immune, and they have like a discussion between them about what they're gonna do with her, blah blah blah. But anyways, the more exciting part is that um, Joel and Tess come across a fight that Marlene and Robert's gang come into, and just like the game, Marlene is injured, but now she has this right hand person that I don't remember from the game. She's not even there. It's a new character, and they're kind of Ellie tries to stab Joel, and fails miserably, of course. But then we find out that Marlene, because she's injured, and so is her right hand person, right hand woman. Um, she kind of negotiates with Joel, and they come to an agreement that Joel and Tess, I guess, are going to smuggle Ellie outside of the compound. And just like that, and just like that, the premise of the show is set up. And let me not forget, there's lots of backpacks. They could not leave out the back. They could not do this show and not include the backpacks. The backpacks are an integral part. The backpacks are their own character, okay? Don't ask any questions. They need backpacks.
Backpack, 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 backpack.
So then, I don't think they could have done this show and not include this part. If you remember the game, they were like in some trenches and just concrete and pipes, and this is uh, this is when they and guards are up top and you kind of have to avoid the lights. So they kind of recreate this, but it's very much condensed. And Joel, so they turn a corner, I guess, and Joel, they come face to face with this guard that Joel was exchanging contraband with earlier in the episode, and you would think that he would let them slide, but no, this dickhead, he wants free oxycontin or some shit, and and the shit just hits the fan, and when they cut to this scene with the with the guards they're trying to avoid and everything, and the floodlights, you know exactly where you're at because they kind of play the music in the background, and it's not so subtle, to be honest, and it's the exact same music that plays in the game, so some shit's about to go down. So as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if, like, as they're going through this, Joel or even Ellie or Tess have some kind of premonition of one of them dying or one of them getting spotted by the guards and they get shot or some shit. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, please, that's a big part of the game, the death animations. But then we get to the scene where the guard is testing everybody for the infection, and he, just like the game, they test Joel, they test Tess, and then as they're about to test Ellie, Ellie knows that she's infected, so she kind of grabs her knife and she stabs at the guard, and and so we wind up in a situation where Joel is standing between. He kind of jams himself between the guard and Ellie, and it's kind of like a standoff. I mean, not really a standoff because the guard has the rifle, and um, Joel has this flashback, and he remembers the moment when he lost his daughter, bless his heart, um, and it's a monumental moment, an iconic moment in video game history, and an iconic moment here, and I think they pulled it off well because it kind of starts to show Joel softening up and showing that that he may or may not start to think of Ellie as his own daughter. Um, so he has that flashback, and because of this, he's not gonna let this shit happen again. So he tackles the guard and he beats the shit out of him. And of course, they have to flee because now well, you don't really know if he killed the dude or not. But Ellie's there watching, and we kind of see um, Ellie watching. It's so weird because earlier on in the show, Sarah saw Joel killing um, her zombified neighbor, the old lady, and now Ellie's behind him watching Joel kill this human being, you know, an actual human being. So it's kind of crazy how this is all playing out. But I'm glad it played out that way. And this is kind of where the episode ends because they scurry off because more guards are coming. They have to run. They have to splurt. Before I go on to talk about what happens afterwards and my thoughts on the show, I think for this first episode, I think it was amazing. I think they did a fantastic job of paying homage to the show, respecting the original content, and not deviating too much. And I think this is how, if you are going to translate a video game into a show or movie, you have to pay proper respect to the original IP. You don't just go off and do what the fuck ever you want to do. You have to pay respect, and I think they did it properly. I think they did it perfectly, as well as they could. And I'm gonna give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. Yeah. So, anyways, I wonder how far they're gonna go with this show. Are they gonna go all the way to the end when, is this whole first season going to encapsulate the entire first game? I think they'll be kind of rushing it if they do. But I hope that you know, it's gonna take 2 seasons to go through the first game alone. I hope so, but we'll see. Because if they do make it to the end, they have the chance to show Abby, a young Abby, you know, to show when her father died, towards the end. So we'll see. All I know is whoever they get to play older Abby better be Diesel AF, because it would be a crying shame if they actually get somebody that's not willing to beef up for the role. You know, or they're gonna have to give her CG arms or something. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here. If you made it this far, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you sticking around. Please hit the like button, ring the bell, subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate if you leave a comment for the algorithm. It really helps me a lot. Thank you so much. See you next time.